Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
So good to see you again.
Thank you.
How are you feeling today?
About the same.
Okay, so still struggling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You know, the fact that you're here, Sarah, that you got up this morning and got dressed, and that you came to this appointment on time, and it looks like you have your journal there, speaks volumes to me about your courage, your resilience, your tenacity. So whether you realize that or not, I see that as a real positive within you that we can build on. Okay? All right. Before we start, I just want to remind you that you're safe here. In terms of confidentiality, we had some forms that were signed last week, and once again, wanted to reiterate that everything that was talked about within this session will stay here. Okay? All right. The focus of our session last week was beginning the goal-setting process. And so what I would like to do today, with your permission, is continue with that goal setting.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Last week, if you'll recall, the assignment was for you to begin journaling, even if it was just a sentence, sort of a soundbite as to how you felt that day. Were you able to complete that assignment?
I did.
Okay. You're willing to share a few of those entries with me because I'm
Sure.
just sort of curious. And I will, with your permission, just jot down a few notes.
Okay.
Okay, that will jog my memory. Okay.
Okay. The first one's like from Monday. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I feel tired all the time. My neighbor Judy keeps stopping by. I wish she would just leave me alone. I love her, but I can't pretend like nothing happened and just go for coffee.
Okay, so that was your first entry. If you were to assign an emotion to that, what would you say it would be as to how you felt towards Judy?
Frustrated.
Okay, frustration. All right. What else?
This is from Wednesday. Today was sunny, but I had no interest in going outside.
Okay, no interest in going outside. Was there any fear associated with going outside?
No, I just didn't want to.
Okay. Is fatigue playing a factor in that?
Yeah.
Okay, because we talked about that a bit last week. Yeah. Okay. All right. Another one?
On Thursday, my son called. It was nice to hear from him. He asked me to come up and stay in Indy for the weekend, but I felt guilty saying no, but I really don't want to go.
Okay, so I'm hearing the word guilt.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a common feeling for you?
I think in relation to my kids, yes.
Okay, and I know that relationship with your boys is very strong.
Right.
Okay, and the trip would have been something that you would have done prior to John's death in December, right?
Probably.
Okay.
But he and I would have done it together.
Okay, so that's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You have any other entries?
This one's from Saturday. I hate my life without John. None of this is fair.
Okay. Sir, can you repeat that one more time?
I hate my life without John. None of this is fair.
Okay. I'm hearing a little different emotion in that particular entry than I'm hearing in the other ones. Once again, what kind of emotion are you feeling, or did you feel when you wrote that? You remember?
Probably anger.
Anger. That's what I'm hearing too with it. Do you remember last week we talked a little bit about the stages of grief? And the first one was denial and sort of this isolation that you feel that you've been stuck in.
Yeah.
And the second phase is actually anger. And so whether you feel as though you're making progress or not, transitioning into that anger phase is actually sort of a good sign of progress. Now, granted, we may want to talk about some healthy outlets for that anger, but the fact that I'm hearing that to me is a positive. Okay. Anything else?
No, that was the last one I did.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for completing that exercise. It's really helpful for me to hear what you're feeling outside of session here. Before we get into the second part of the goal-setting process here today is I'd like to visit just a basic question, okay? And the question is this. Do you want your life back even if it is without John? And that's a legitimate question, and you can answer that as honestly, no right or wrong answer here.
I don't know.
Okay. That's honest. Okay. Fair enough. Let's talk for just a minute about pros and cons. In other words, the positives of you choosing to move on with your life. What would they be? What would that look like?
I think my kids, I think they'd be pleased.
Okay, kids would be pleased. What else?
I'd like to feel better.
Okay, absolutely. All right.
I'd be able to make a contribution, and participate out in the world again, like I did when I was volunteering before John died.
Yeah, I know that volunteerism at the hospital was very important and fulfilling for you.
Right.
Okay, thank you. Let's talk for just a moment of what the downside would be of you moving on and reclaiming your life.
I would have to accept that John's gone.
Okay.
And I think sometimes I feel that if I accept that, it's like saying, I don't miss him anymore. It's almost a feeling of betrayal.
Okay. We may want to come back and revisit that at some point with regards to betrayal. What else would be a downside?
I feel like it would take an awful lot of work. It almost feels overwhelming to go on without him.
Okay. I know we talked about the fact that energy is an issue. Okay. Is there any one of the positives that you feel like would outweigh the negatives? In other words, would trump the negatives?
My kids.
You said that pretty rapidly. Okay. I'm going to make sure and give this to you because I want you to be reminded of the fact that that can be a motivational factor until you feel like you want to do it for yourself. Okay? The thing I want to close with today is to ask you to brainstorm for just a moment about an activity that you would like to do, that you would like to reclaim, that you enjoyed before John's death, that you can reclaim now or resume now at this point in your life.
I could go and get coffee with Judy.
Okay. We kind of killed two birds with one stone, right?
Right. She'd leave me alone.
That's a win-win. All right. Okay. So the one thing that I would ask with regards to that goal then, of getting together with Judy between now and next week, would be that it would be outside of the home. Is that something you're comfortable with?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any questions? Issues?
No.
Okay. All right. What I would like to do between now and next week then, in terms of a summary here, is to ask you to continue to journal.
Okay.
Okay? And ask you to have coffee
Okay.
with Judy between now and next week. And we'll kind of process that the next week.
Okay.
All right. Very good. I'll go ahead and give you this copy. And great job with the journaling. I'll look forward to seeing you next week.
Okay.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.